Hey there, it's Jimmy again. Welcome back. And today we have something really big. And when I mean big, I just mean big. This thing is huge. This is a 1977 Lincoln Continental Town Coupe. It's very interesting. So we'll be taking a full look at it. If you like what you see, please do hit subscribe and like. Leave comments below if you know stuff about this car, which I'm sure you will. I'm not an expert, so don't flame me if I get something wrong, but these are interesting. This is a revised version of the 70 to 74 Continental. When the Coupe came out in 74, this was one of the more interesting vehicles. This is not the Mark V, although it is related. But for 75, they restyled it quite a bit. And then these lasted until 1979, I believe. But they are absolutely massive. I mean, let's walk around this thing first. I mean, this is huge. There would have been a gigantic Lincoln grille here that's still similar to what they used for many years afterwards. You had this massive bumper. The bumper for 77 is what made it actually one of the longest cars. It extended the front and the rear by several inches. You have these awesome turn signals here with the ribbed chrome. Love that. Dual headlights on either side, which were tucked away with the covers. Obviously the big grille, which is gone here. This is the other side headlight, obviously, and these came down, and then in here it actually has, it says Lincoln Continental on it. So when it was closed, like it normally would be, it would say Lincoln Continental right here. Obviously the other turn signal. Got the license plate bracket on the side, which I always love. The little grill down there. And man, we've just talked about the first foot and a half of the car. So there's a long way to go. This is what it looks like from the side. I mean, the hood is just massive. It just stretches back and back and back and back and back and more back and further and keeps on going. But let's look at the rest of the flanks. This one's got quite a bit of patina on it. It's been well used, well loved. GB, someone's initials, very cool. This is neat too, this fender molding here, the chrome that wraps all the way around from the front, goes here, then goes into the mirror, and then comes back and continues towards the back of the car. Big chunky chrome door handle, I like that. And it just keeps going to the back, keeps on going. Had a pinstripe, interesting how the panel is very rusty and the fuel filler flap is not. It's kind of interesting. And then back here you have the big protruding bumper again, and the tail light here wraps around with a full width tail light panel here, which is neat. Which actually, did that light up? I don't think it did. I think it's a reflector mainly. But if I got that wrong, please correct me. This trunk lid won't close, but this is sold by Williams, I guess. I'm not sure where they are. We're in northern Colorado here. This is where the Lincoln logo would have been. It would have been a fold-up type design to get to the trunk lid. And they have a little tiny Lincoln badge right here in the corner. Pretty interesting. But looking at the roof line, this is interesting. So this would have had a half vinyl top. The front half would not have had a vinyl. This would have just been painted, I believe. But then back here, this was all a big padded vinyl top. So this actually shows us this is the color of this vehicle. So it was this gorgeous blue color, which is faded to gray and rust. It had the square opera window here with the Lincoln logo embedded into it, which is kind of cool. Has some detail there. And a bar that went over here with the opera light. And this was, like I said, a fully padded vinyl top, and again, this shows you the difference in how they did the vinyl tops. I have an interesting video on how the Mercury Grand Marquis did the vinyl top, and this one's similar, except they didn't change the rear window. But this is the roof panel, this is the side panel, this is body filler in here, done very rudimentarily because it will just be covered anyway. If this was a non-vinyl top, which they didn't make in this style, then this would have been completely finished, smooth, and painted nicely. But here they didn't need to, since it was getting a thick padded top. But that's how that works. But then the problem is down here where it attaches, it just soaks in water. So that's why vinyl tops tend to cause a lot of rust problems. And this is actually better than most, but not great. And there would have been a logo right here most likely, which is what is causing the rust over here. But you had full fender skirts on the back, which are neat. This one's got a little, well, the chrome's a little jagged there. But these came off if you need them to come off. Again, the passenger door is the same as the driver's door, absolutely massive. Wheels were 15 inches, in this case 225, 75, 15. That's interesting. This one's actually got this one says, if you see it, for trailer service only. So actually, I don't know if this was the correct size, but this is apparently a trailer tire that somebody put on here. It's a Load Max radial, 225, 75, 15 by Nankang, which I think is are they Chinese or Korean? But it's a much more modern tire than the car, but it's a trailer tire apparently. So under hood, let's see if we can open this gigantic hood. Oh, there we go. Wow, that's a lot of metal. This would have come equipped with a 460 cubic inch V8, absolutely massive. In 77, I believe there was a California version which had the 400 as their standard option or their only option. Then the 400 after, I think 77 became standard with a 460 being an option. But in 77, I'm pretty sure the 460 was still the standard engine. But tons of room in there. It's kind of deceiving just because the scale of this thing is so massive. But that was a big giant hunk of an engine that somebody's taken away. Let's go take a look around to the trunk, because that's big also, and then we'll take a look inside. So here's the trunk. The spare tire would have gone up there into that shelf, which I'm reaching and I'm 6'1". I can barely touch the edge of the shelf, so that's not really usable for luggage space because you really couldn't get to it. Here's a spare tire, which in this case is called a Lifesaver Radial. This may have been the original spare. It's by BF Goodrich, so I'm not quite sure. This is one of the hubcaps that came with this. This is kind of a turbine fin design, which is nice, with the Lincoln logo in the middle. A nicely trimmed out trunk with carpeting everywhere. Got these side panels, which they're like snaps. That's interesting. So that you could remove that and then grab whatever's under here, maybe the jack or some other type of stuff. So, and then using these little snaps, it just popped back in. That's kind of a nice touch. I like that. This shows the color again very well. Beautiful metallic blue. And here it talks about using the jack and so forth. And then this one also had the power antenna in the rear fender. So that's quite nice. But yeah, let me see if I can lower the trunk and get a good, no, not really, a good visual of the whole car from the back end. I mean, it's just huge. So, and it's just really, really cool. But let's walk around it again, and then we will go take a look at the inside, which is in about, I'll be honest, it's about the same condition as the outside. Well loved. So, but here we go. Let's walk around this thing. Just massive. It's a long walk. Running out of breath here. Definitely get my steps in today walking around this. It's no Geo Metro, I'll tell you that. So let's see. All right, here we go. Let's open this big door. We'll pretend we're GB today, and we'll go in here again. Upper window with the cool Lincoln logo, and then here's the vast expanse of interior space. So let's take a look at the door panel first. So, I mean, this is a gigantic door. I have a fairly decent sized hand, and I mean, it just spans forever. Can't imagine parking this thing in a supermarket parking lot and having to get out. And it's heavy, it's really heavy. Lots of wood or fake wood trim. Obviously, it's had power windows and everything. Here's the controller for it that came out of the thing. So you have the mirror control, rear tilt, front tilt, interesting, for the seat. And then these are the windows, and this is the door lock. Then these are the seats, obviously. In this case, they're velour on the front, or close to velour. But the backs and headrests and sides are leather or vinyl, most likely. Seat belts came out of the floor, and the roof, or the B-pillar, which is nice. But let's take a look at the dashboard. So there would have been a giant steering wheel right here, obviously. But here's the big dashboard that sweeps all the way across. And you had a regular horizontal speedometer up to 120 miles an hour. Idiot lights for various functions. There's the odometer, but we can't read the mileage anymore, unfortunately. I don't know what is this? It's a little toggle switch that goes all the way around. Oh, is that? I wonder if that's the controller for the right-hand mirror. Kind of seems like it. It's kind of interesting. Air vents. Here you have the fasten belts, antenna, electronic de-icer lights. And then here's the radio. This is a Ford Aero Neutronic AM FM stereo. Kind of cool, with just regular knobs. Another vent. And then here you had, oh look, they had the Cartier, this is a Cartier edition. They have the Cartier clock, which is just one of those old style, you know, where it rolls around. Temperature gauge down there. And then here's the automatic air conditioning. So you just kind of set the temperature you want, and then, well, I guess not really automatic, high, low, economy, off, defog and defrost, but you just set the temperature that you want the air to come out via the slider. It's nice in the blue here. Another vent. This is very similar to the F-150 actually. F-150 may have used the same vents, who knows. The Ford F-150 pickup truck, I mean. And then more gauges here for the battery, unleaded fuel gauge, lights, and wipers. So push to wash or squirt, and then turn. And then let's see, not much of an armrest. Well, I mean, you had two armrests, but no kind of center console or anything. These just pop up. Sort of a, not really a bench seat in the middle. And then the back seat. Let's see if we can do the release here. Push this. There you go. This had quite a bit of space, but not really as much as you'd think. I mean, that's not that much legroom, really. Headroom was decent since it's a pretty upright roof. You had these windows here, which are a little on the claustrophobic side, but at least you had a little map light there on the side. But think about it, your head would have been there just to the side of the light. So you kind of have to move forward to look out of the window, which is a little odd. And then here's the switch for the light, so you can turn it on or off. And then I assume this is open. Yeah, this is an ashtray. Yep. So for the smokers in the family, which would have been everybody. Then back here, you actually did get a decent armrest. So this folds down or pops back up. But again, this is the blue velour, which is quite nice and soft. And then it's trimmed out in you know, vinyl or leather-like vinyl, whatever, and the wood trim. The back of the door panel, this is cool. It's actually a metallic blue is the vinyl, and I guess it's just faded in the front, but yeah, so it was actually, that is right. It's a metallic blue, which is really cool, sort of a holdover from the 60s, really, and sort of fake stitching, and the buttons, so sort of a fake button tufted look, and this is kind of hard plastic on the surround here. That's kind of cool. I like that. Let's go around to the passenger side. Again, another long walk. So here we go. I'm digging this car, I must say. Driving this must have been quite the experience. I mean, this thing just wafts along, I'm sure. So on this side of the dashboard, you had more wood trim, Lincoln Continental logo. And you know, in this angle isn't going to show it. I mean, the dashboard, look how big of a brow it has. It just completely, the top, you know, just recedes back quite a ways. Then you had a glove box with not one, not two, but 3 layers of fake stitching. And it just opened, and the insides are gone. But there's, you can clearly see this thing's made by Ford. This Ford logo is all over this thing. And this is one of the thickest glove box doors I've ever seen. Oh, and then what's over here? This would be the, oh, wow, that is quite the ashtray. That'll hold your cigars, and there's your lighter. So this is for the industrialist who's done well and likes his smokes. I've got the other 2 hubcaps here, which are quite heavy, actually. Definitely probably 4 pounds each, I guess. And must look pretty good once they're installed. So here's the tire pressures for Lincoln Continental, all models. It's quite interesting. And let's actually see if we can see the build tag on the other side. Didn't look at that, but oh, this one here. So this is the door panel on this side, and this It's backwards. Again, you could tilt the front or rear end of the seat, or you tilt the seat front and rear. And that doesn't mean the rear seat, that means the front or rear section of, I assume, the bottom cushion. You had the window, door locks, and then you had the ashtray for the front. And interesting, the driver's side doesn't have an ashtray because the driver gets the gigantic ashtray in the middle of the dashboard. So let's just see if we can see the build tag, or the VIN tag. Oh, here it is. That's always interesting to look at. It's on the door. It's manufactured by Ford Motor Company. Manufactured by Ford Motor Company in the USA. Gross vehicle weight rating 6,461 pounds. This was built in 1176, so November of 76. Yeah, and there's the codes. The color code says 32TW. DSO, District Sales Office is 51, which I think is Denver. Body is 60B, which I think is the style. Trim is FB, which I think has to do with the inside colors. Schedule date 03L, axle 0, trans U, ACA. So, and the VIN 7Y81A824563. If someone wants to look that up and note the specs in the comments, that would be appreciated. So anyway, here you go. This is the 1977 Lincoln Continental Town Coupe in all of its massive length and glory. So again, like I said, if you liked what you saw, please do hit subscribe and like. Leave your comments below. Oh, turn on the notifications too, so that you'll know whenever I do a new video. And again, thank you very much for this long video of a long car. So thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.